Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here as we are waiting game number 5 between Team Octalysis and Team Freedom. Whoever ends up winning this will end up moving on to tomorrow's playoff match against Heroes Hearth Esports, and the victor of that will join Tempo Storm and Fan at the midseason brawl. And I've got to ask, guys, now that we're going down, we made it to game number 5 again here between the two teams, knowing what we got banned out. We're assuming that, it's got to be the selection between BOE and Dragonshire. Do we have, thoughts on where we're going to be going?
I guess forgot about Towers.
Oh, we have Towers available.
So BOE, Dragon, and Towers are our 3 remaining battlegrounds. If you're on Team Octalysis, you're 6-1 on that battleground. And if you're on the side of Team Freedom, you're 2-2. Dragonshire, 5-4 for Octalysis, 2-1 for that of Team Freedom. Towers of Doom, a little bit more even when we get down to that route. So I'm really curious, is Team Freedom, do they value first pick that much? Do they want to see if they can get the Medivh, maybe play around the Hanzo, or will they maybe just say, look, we'll give up the battleground, maybe concede to a better battleground for Team Octalysis?
Do you have any kind of thoughts from if you were in one of their shoes here, Fan, on what you would like to see happen?
More so than the battleground, I think the momentum shifts that happen during the series is really important. I think Freedom has got to be hurting after that game. It looked like they were so confident. I saw the Freedom in the first part, the confident #1 Freedom team. They were controlling the game from start to finish, almost. They almost had the game, and then pick after pick after pick, they basically threw away that game, threw away the series potentially. So I feel like they are not feeling happy right now. And on the flip side, Team Octalysis, they have got to be so happy right now because, they were 2 levels down. They were getting demolished in the last game, and they managed to turn that around. And now they're just 1 game away from taking the series.
So now we got to figure out where we are going here, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 5, as it will take place on Towers of Doom, selected by Team Octalysis.
All right, so here's what's up, right? Towers of Doom, 3-3 for Team Freedom, 6-3 for Octalysis. Although they haven't necessarily been a dominant team on this battleground, one of the stats that we like to look at, or at least I like to look at in particular, is you're winning on this battleground, but are you winning dominantly? So I like to look at the KDs of kills versus deaths. And that's normally a pretty big telling sign of, look, we're dominating this battleground. They actually have a negative KD despite having a 6-3 record. So it hasn't been easy on these battlegrounds. On the side of Team Freedom, they're almost similar. It's about 0.92 to 0.88 on the side of Team Freedom. So neither team is necessarily dominated on these battlegrounds, but when you have a winning record of 6-3, confidence definitely got to be there if you're on the side of Octalysis.
This is another map where globals shine a lot as well, and I've noticed Team Freedom, they've been really favoring the globals, multiple Dahaka picks throughout the series, multiple Falstad picks throughout the series as well, as we see the Garrosh getting banned here. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I really do not want to see Yoda play W build Falstad again. 0% win rate so far, and I understand his thought process, and I understand where he's going with it, but honestly, if I see that in Hero League, I would consider reporting them for trolling. So it just takes away so much of the hero's fundamental strengths. He's been performing so well otherwise. He's been performing so well on every other heroes he's played.
I just want to say, Fan, that I appreciate your level of honesty here, because we ripped into it pretty hard in the last cast, so much so that I felt the need to highlight when it was doing very well. So the fact that you were willing to be that honest, because I felt bad about like how difficult I was having, empathy, giving my best, the benefit of the doubt on like when the false hit versus not. Okay, we haven't got ourselves a plus hit yet, but we got a Medivh first pick.
Look, I'm surprised that they let Medivh through as opposed to Maiev, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because again, Maiev is Lutano, Medivh is Yoda. If I want one person to take away one of their biggest strengths on the side of Team Freedom, is Lutano's carry heroes. That is their single biggest strength. That's what they've relied on. Dude is a stud. He is an all-star on this team. Medivh is a Yoda hero, and Yoda is very good on this hero, and they play around it well. So targeting here, a little bit different mindset. Octalysis, though, they're pros for a reason. They're in the driver's seat. We'll see if they can make it work.
Yeah, I will say with the Garrosh banned out, Medivh does lower in value by just a little bit. It's one of the strongest combinations in the game is the Medivh Garrosh, where he can just portal him in and he throws you backwards. So basically, you're never safe from the Garrosh. But still, they decide that the Medivh is the lesser threat between the two. They also end up picking the Dahaka, which means they will have global control on this map at this point. Falstad is not going to be picked, most likely, by Freedom. Yoda already on his Medivh there, and we see a Greymane as well.
Stitches is being hovered, as this is the exact same first 3 picks we saw from Team Freedom on Towers of Doom, or not Towers of Doom, but Tomb of the Spider Queen, where we got the Stitches pick. But if we recall that game, you pointed out that that game was heavily won in favor of Octalysis until the Stitches Medivh combo over the top 4 went on to that Johanna and got the kill afterwards. So kind of, you know, the series memories lingering on the mind of Team Octalysis in this draft.
Yeah, the Stitches definitely going to be banned out there, which, you know, you kind of taking your chances on. What else can they possibly go with? You think of Zugrug and what type of control he has. Obviously, Diablo has to be in consideration. Towers of Doom, a pretty strong one, but is it going to be enough against the team like this? And then do you have the same type of results? Also, Tracer is something to consider as well. We saw how that worked, and then the change-up in talents at level 13 for Yoda to deal with that style between the Jaina Tracer, and it actually worked out really well in that saving moment near the top keep.
Interesting to ban the Stitches over the Diablo, though. As you mentioned, in that game, they were heavily winning against the Stitches until they made that mistake of giving him the pick into the top 4. So they're drafting much the same way here. Team Octalysis, they have the Dahaka, they have the Malfurion. This almost certainly means they're going to have a winning early game. They can 5v4 with the Dahaka, and Malfurion is one of the strongest sustained supports in the game, especially early on. So it looks like they're not confident anymore into the Stitches Medivh cheese, which is reasonable, but at the same time, I think the Diablo is going to be very strong for Freedom here.
Genji being banned out over the opportunity of maybe a Tracer, but with the Medivh picked up on the other side of the battlefield, you can make a pretty solid argument as to why you would see that. No force of will.
Hanzo's just casually chilling, waiting to be picked up.
Yeah, that's a good call. Didn't think about that one.
Scatter arrow build on this one, you know, sometimes it feels, that's the best part about Hanzo is there's so many builds available for him. I feel like scatter arrow build on this battleground in particular is extremely powerful.
I do want to see Team Octalysis pick up the Diablo here. That could be one answer of just getting rid of both of them right away. Whether it's Hanzo Diablo or Tracer Diablo, I think they're all pretty good.
How sweet would it be if Octalysis picked the Diablo and then you saw an Arthas last pick in the response of Freedom? The Medivh Arthas, that was the response to the Diablo in game number 1, but just swapped to the other side. I'm sorry, that kind of stuff is like poetic justice. That just makes my heart just go smile so big.
I think when you have the Hanzo, it's one of the few heroes that you can be like, all right, I can get away with this, right? It's like he does enough to where you can fall into that. We do get an ETC coming out from Justin, his most played hero. He's 8-4 on this hero, so definitely something they've had a lot of success with in the past.
Yeah, so choosing to give the Diablo over to Team Freedom, ETC is very similar in the fact that he is really good against Medivh. You can Q, you can W, make it really hard for a Medivh to actually get through his portal, as well as everyone else. He also does really well against Stukov because he can easily cancel the silence if he's anywhere near Stukov. But we will see if they regret giving that Diablo very soon.
Is Junkrat too squishy to pair with the Hanzo at this point?
Into a Diablo, there's no way you're going to survive.
The Tracer's still around, but Fan, you know something about playing Tracer into Diablo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know, if they ended up taking Tracer Diablo there, not only does it help in
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Did I miss something?
Just when that.
Oh, he already blocked it out of his memory.
He's just the showcase of Breeze, and you were on the Tracer.
I was on a single track. Yeah, I already had something going in my mind. You know, I missed the diss on me. I can live with that.
No, it's okay. Everything. It was just mainly for anybody who never caught it. One of the best showcases of Diablo into the Tracer was you on Tracer, and then Breeze on Diablo. Yeah, that's what he was hinting at.
Dread just like, look, that knife's in there. Let me just
stir that puppy up as deep as I can. I'm sorry, fan.
There's nobody in this world that's ready for Breeze Diablo. That's all I gotta say.
Last pick. Here it is. What is the back line? It's going to be Cassia. Into the gray, man. You know, I feel like... hold up. This is going to take a little bit more than my initial glance on my feelings on this one. Because with only one auto attack, or one primary auto attacker, is that really going to be worth it, along with the amount of mobility that the Medivh is going to provide in the AoE crowd control that Team Freedom has?
The Grey Main is the only main damage source for Team Freedom. The other ones are mostly tanks and whatnot, so I don't hate it, but at the same time, I don't love it. When Diablo gets to 16, he can easily one-shot Cassia if he gets her on the walls.
And it's a great map for the walls. Debatably, you know, the best of them, maybe like Cursed Hollow. Very easy to get that, you know, 13 devastating charge into the overpower combo with the 16. we don't normally do this, but I figure since now that we're at playoffs, things getting a little bit serious, and we're in game number 5, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, do you have a prediction for this final game here, fan?
You know, I think Team Octalysis is riding the momentum wave, but I think Team Freedom has the better draft here. I do not think Octalysis can deal with the Diablo if it makes it into the late game. So I'm going with Team Freedom.
Octalysis for me, because I want to get this game underway.
I'm not going to have an opinion, so we can remain.
Oh, you can't dodge it.
Nah, I'm going with Freedom. To be honest, the Cassia did not pack the punch in the last pick, and to be honest as well, Medivh exists on the other side of the battlefield. In the blue is going to be Team Octalysis, where we have Dansky here on the Hanzo. Cure going to be on our Cassia. Justing is on ETC. Goku playing Dahaka. Supporting the squad here is Buds on Malfurion.
On the right side, in red, is going to be that of Team Freedom, and they're going to have Collusion on that back line, supporting there on Stukov. Lutano, of course, we know what he could do. He's going to be on the gray main. Zugrug will be dominating that front line, potentially on the Diablo. Nasmus, of course, going to be hanging out in that off lane on the Blaze. And Yoda, the Medivh master himself, trying to carry his team to one more victory to make it to the final day of the playoffs. That is Team Freedom.
Middle wave clash here. Who's going to pull ahead? It looks like Freedom manages to do so, and considering you have a Medivh composition, that is always a colossal silver lining because the Medivh portal in those rotations, which is why you see 3 members of Team Freedom already winning down there. Good tempo control for them, but you know Octalysis, they're going to be looking to swing that momentum back into their favor with that Dahaka pickup over those first sappers.
Really curious if they will choose to be aggressive. Again, a Diablo in the early game, Dreadnought, not that tanky.
Yeah.
He has good stun and good control, but in terms of overall, like, hey, can we kill this guy? The answer is a huge yes. So the 1 minute mark is here. See how these teams approach it.
Octalysis has to be concerned with how much control we already see Team Freedom have. It is not going to be a thing that gets a major kill maybe this exact moment or anything of the like, but just purely based on how responsive Octalysis is being already within this game, you never want to be able to make that happen. It just, with decision making and how proactive you can be on kind of punishing your opponent's mistakes, it becomes very, very minimal whenever you have that tempo. And again, it's not like compositionally they have dominant enough wave clear that I feel like it should be this out of control. It's going to get better as Hanzo scales up too. Hold up though, power slide plus the root. Zugrug maybe in a bad spot. Cassia with the fan. Goku looking for that drag. He's going to find himself a Stukov. Medivh with the shield. Portal going to be thrown down, but it might be too late.
Oh, the Finn just barely got dodged there. Cure, he's getting out alive at least for the moment. Roots are going to keep Lutano back a little bit, but either one of those kills would have been carrying that momentum that Fan was just talking about even further against Team Freedom. And Team Freedom plays very well from ahead, at least in most general circumstances. But the last few games, they might be a little bit shook.
And also, if we consider, you know, some of the history from yesterday. First of all, let's bring it back here actually to the idea that for anybody who didn't know, Cure is a player that, though maybe not every event with the qualification in the traditional manner, if you look at his time at becoming a professional HGC player since Heroes of the Dorm, he's qualified for every international event he has had the opportunity to do so. If he loses here, that is now the first time that he will not end up qualifying towards those international tournaments. It's just insane to be able to think that. But then also, yesterday's results, according to what we saw, everything in the ladder system. Cure got a good fend. The knockback.
The Fen buys him a little bit of time. Heals they got there, but just not enough in time. Malfurion, not the same type of support as other heroes, but you know, the Medivh lurking there, it's kind of that big red flag of like, hey, look, I'm either looking for vision to set up a kill or I'm about to port somebody, and a little bit surprised there at the pathing. Oh, that missed.
It missed. The arrow didn't. Yeah, but that's now he's not going to have a second cooldown to get the interrupt. Yeah, that exactly. Setting Team Freedom quite a bit back here over the interrupt attempt. They do secure those top right shots. But what I was saying a little bit with yesterday is just we haven't had an upset yet. If Team Freedom wins this, this is now the first moment of a major upset within our playoffs, because as it stood yesterday, our standings went exactly as you expected. 6th seed, you know, ends up falling there to the 5th, 5th to 4th. Well, I guess we'll be able to find that now, but
maybe we'll be mirroring a little bit of EU action. Zealots making another run for it after having a pretty rough start to the second part, Dread. It's been Dahaka's coming in.
Channel attempt, Zugrug isolated, power slide and the drag are going to be stacked on top of each other. Nice force of will, but the knockback onto Zugrug, onto the lurking army, takes the portal, but it's just going to be kind of catering towards the opposite direction. The Dark Swarm does not get the kill. Oh,
if they don't stagger those stuns, that is a kill. that is pressure right there, Dredd. I mean, you could tell they got desperate to confirm that kill. They were unable to do so. Greymane, by the way, casually pushing top lane. Octalysis, you know, they're going to get this Sapper camp at the bottom, but remember, Stukov is on the other side. The silence keeps the Sappers from charging. This is, won't keep them, well, there it is.
Won't be able to gain too much value. Nobody on the side of Octalysis in a position to be able to threaten Collusion back. He's, oh, I almost gained value there, getting out of the range to be able to cast that kind of kamikaze for a moment there, but Top Zapper was kind of interested for a moment there on the side of Lutano. Nobody going to really commit to it for now.
I don't even see color on that bar.
Yeah, that actually doesn't seem like it should be an HP bar. That is...
That's got to be like 1 health.
Oh, man.
Somebody's like, look, let's just get the minions up. If they overcommit to that, can you imagine?
To be honest with you, from a shot calling and decision making in-game perspective, I always view turrets like that as a turret I wouldn't want to prioritize because it's free experience. It just puts me in a position where it's like, it is so easy to get, right? We're looking at this going like, how easy could anybody could look at it and take it down? So it's like, why overcommit too early? I'd rather watch the team, you know, be able to play it safe. Hold up, though. Justin burnt a lot there in his power slide and his knockback, not really netting too much on the Zugrug. Zugrug looked to kind of turn things around for a moment here, but didn't get the stun against the wall. Freedom is closing in on their 10s here before this objective is really going to spawn. So the fact that Octalysis is showing any interest on the bottom half of the map is rather surprising.
Yeah, I think they've definitely got to concede it. Dahaka can only do so much. They've got Hanzo middle. Does Octalysis trying to make sure and keep up with the experience as much as possible, but with this spawning, should be enough for Team Freedom. Even up this game, experience slightly in favor of Team Freedom. Again, because of that split push value, the priority towards that Sapper camp at the bottom didn't net the results that the Greymane did on the top. And that's one of the things, when you have the Stukov, you can make these trades. This is why Team Freedom is so regarded in their macro sense. Small plays like that can add up over the course of a game, and right now it's having an impact over this altar phase.
Portal aid. No kill attempt there. Is Dansky able to make it past that gate before the Shadow Charge range came online? Do make the transition down for a nice little 4 versus 3 there.
We might have a fight.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a tussle there. Portal is up. Dragon's Arrow comes in, though. Portal goes through, but he's not going to be able to
Doc is coming in. Collusion's going to be in trouble here.
Oh.
Right on the right. He's going to land that drag. That's going to be Collusion. He's going to go down here in just a moment as the shield. Two-man mosh pit. Dansky. And there's going to be Cure coming in with the Finn. That is going to be 3 members down. Lutano uses the Eyes in the Dark. He does dodge for the moment. There's going to be a big shot.
Dansky.
See if it gets it.
Got him. Got the 4th kill there. And now Octalysis have control of this game. Much like the last one, Jay Howe. It just took 1 moment, and they open this game up. Going to convert this bottom bell tower, look to be able to pick up those Sappers, and now it is using that Hanzo, using the control of the bottom lane with the global on that Dahaka to really manipulate Towers of Doom into their favor.
Dahaka is so significant in the fact that he can double clear, and this is kind of everything that got started. The Dragon Arrow, obviously the portal goes down, but getting that first kill, but the brush stalk in, and then casually Justin he's like, look, you guys take care of that, I'll prep the next one, and they come down and they instantly got that. But the thing to consider now with Dahaka can double lane soak and has the global, which means you can keep all 4 members of Octalysis down here in this bottom lane and control this battleground. This is one of the reasons why we saw the changes to the Sappers, because this bot lane, once you obtain control, it's so hard to get back. It made it much more difficult, but this is the way you earn control, and Octalysis has done just that.
Blaze will be pretty effective as well, you know, with the 2 versus 1. It's not like the Dahaka is going to be overly lopsided, but it's just the amount of control within the 4-man. There's not enough DPS with Team Freedom. Greymane is that sole damage dealer. We talked about it in the draft. Is a little bit concerned when it comes to team fights, but it's absolutely a concern when it comes to conversion over that bell tower.
They're going for it. I mean, Diablo might be able to make it. He dodges 1 attack.
He's going down.
Yeah, his essence is already used. Dragon Arrow's move, his Dark Swarm's not available. Bunker's going to buy a little bit of time. Cure coming in. This is a skeptical decision here. Collusion, he's going to be prioritized. There's going to be the APOC. Cure just barely dodges it. Nature's Cure comes out. Tranquility's going to keep them alive. But Octalysis is staying in this fight, Dredd.
Yeah.
Very risky.
4 versus 5, down a man. I mean, there were a major amount of cooldowns. Hold on, though. Lutano found Buds maybe a bit out of position. There were a lot of cooldowns. We saw what? Bunker burnt. APOC was used in the actual team fight itself. I believe we didn't even, actually, I guess we didn't even get massive shoves. So really it was only one heroic in order to try and get that one kill. And that felt like maybe that was enough to be able to turn it around. We eventually got the APOC out on the side of Octalysis, but once you see Goku being killed and you're willing to respond like that and he goes down, I'm surprised that they were willing to dabble. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised Freedom didn't get more kills out of that. If that APOC or that Shadow Charge had led to the actual overpower into the APOC combo, I'm confident that would have been 2-3 kills in favor of Freedom.
Dabble with the dibbles. You can see prioritizing the rotation up. Greymane took that top. If you're going to lose control of the bottom, one of the best ways is to regain control of the top. Dahaka does have decent clear, but it's not always perfect. So we'll see. Malfurion already towards that bottom altar. See the pinging of the warning of the bush. Dahaka, see if he tries to make his way in. Greymane, however, trying to get the blow up there at the bottom right. Dansky, he's alive for now, and I think this trade is exactly what Octalysis is okay with.
5 for 3. 29-19 now onto the core. Cure questioning if he can move up.
That's the Diablo Dread, and these choke points, it's so scary. Goku actually missed the drag there, but I think a fight might be ensuing here. Isolation was also burned.
Yeah, but Zugrug actually goes for the Shadow Charge on a target. Typically, you would not kind of expect that, optimism, especially, as we are only at the 13 out of the combo between the 13-16. Nasmus, Jet Propulsion, going to get interrupted a little bit there. Sapper's cleared up, and back to the control of the bottom bell tower we go.
And next one is Triple Altar Phase. That's going to be Team Freedom, one of their best opportunities to reclaim control of this battleground. They are pretty even in terms of the experience, in terms of that control. They might even be able to neutralize that top lane as well. Keep in mind, the middle has also taken some damage. So if Team Freedom is by some way able to get one of these late game team fights, they can easily turn this map around to paint it their color. But there's going to be the drag on the Nasmus. Bunker goes down.
Rotation's going to be here. Portal taken. Nasmus is going to be just fine. Makes it out. Bunker, pretty cool. Reasonably long cooldown-ish now that we've gotten the nerf coming into it, but definitely not too big of a setback there for Freedom.
Triple Ultra Phase, 30 seconds away. Experience, again, pretty even. Slightly in favor of Team Freedom, at least for now. As long as they control this bottom lane, I think this is exactly what Octalysis wants. They're going for another pick. Goku up top. He might be in trouble here. Nasmus.
Jet Propulsion. He's got to burrow it. There it is. Drag back. Nice punishment. Now just dodge the portal. He's going to stick around, to be honest.
Isolation hit.
I'm amazed at how, passive that Team Freedom actually just played that. If I thought for sure they would just portal, get the kill, and take the exit out, be willing to risk that 4 versus 5. Hold up,
Malfurion was the one in the bot lane, so they don't have a support here. In the moments like that, Zugrug, see if he manages to get something. And again, this is on the neutral side for Octalysis, although that bell tower. And now all of a sudden we see Goku go for the throat. He does not have enough essence to make it out alive.
And he ends up going down. Octalysis here.
I think they just retreat.
They have to. Back to 4 versus 4 when it comes to the bell towers. Freedom's going to go ahead and pick this up. Even start the boss to boot here. It's going to be 8 shots moving in towards the core here of Team Octalysis. Setting it what we'll find at 18 HP, 18 to 14. So only 4-shot difference. Freedom's got to be, or excuse me, 2-shot difference there.
22 to 22.
Wait.
Yeah, the 4 shots. There they go.
Oh,
okay, never mind. Sorry. I thought you were calling it at the time. Yeah, there's the boss. There's the boss.
I'm in fact doing the math of the shots that we're going to see happening here, Jay-How. I was like, Jay-How flashes the 2. I'm like, wait a minute, am I saying this wrong?
Putting up the
I put blind faith and just said 2 afterwards. That's how much trust I have in you. I want you to know that.
I
didn't even
get it
trust
like Ron Burgundy.
Just blind faith, man.
I'm gonna give you a script where you just say random things.
Yeah.
Either way, getting that a little bit back here, you can see the Sappers, they're being defended for now. Zugrug trying to get the kill, the isolation target. Unable to do so. Nasmus going in as well.
Just gonna, kind of make Cure check himself for a moment here. The momentum has gone back a little bit towards Team Freedom here. They haven't gotten that bottom conversion, but they did get the top for themselves. It's not the same. Bottom is still more valuable than the top half, not even considering the shots still in favor of Octalysis. But it's just going to be back to this kind of slow stall. Eventually, Dahaka will be able to claim top, because the minion wave distance from left to right is so much shorter than right to left. And not only that, the Dahaka's pretty good wave clear. Hold up, though. Jugrug questioning if he wants to force. Flip over, damage there. Polybomb even going to be dropped along with the Tranquility. Zuggrud falls pretty low. Massive shove ends up coming out. The lightning bolt goes down, but the dance there with the mosh pit sets up kill number 1. Force of Will buys a bit of time, but kill number 2 on to Nasmus here. And now Octalysis, 8 seconds out from these shots, have a 2-man advantage.
It could not have come at a worse time. I mean, the play, Goku coming in there, making up for kind of those past mistakes. He's going to see if he can make up for another one. The drag's going to land. Roots are going to be there to follow up. CC not able to make it into the portal, and now things are going from bad to worse. However, Team Freedom did sneak in one of those altar channels. Now they're instantly making their way down towards that bottom bell tower. They want to reclaim control of this bottom area. We'll see if they can do it. You can see they're already there, and I think Octalysis has to respond. They cannot afford to give this up. They are slow on the rotation.
They either have to respond or give it up and start answering somewhere immediately after. They're going to end up answering towards bottom, but it feels like it might have been too late, as that is now low enough HP that it is going to be one minion wave out, and Team Freedom will pick it up for themselves. Whereas if you are going to respond to that as late as you are, you might, see those teams instead just be like, you know what, give up bottom, we'll take mid. Eventually when they respond, mid will convert bottom back. And as we said, over time, Goku there on the Dahaka will be able to pick up top in favor of Octalysis and restore our balance here back to even.
Boy, this is an interesting spawn. This is now double altars twice in a row. It's not something, I mean, obviously it's a little bit of RNG, but it's not something we see that often. Now the same desperation that we saw in Volskaya out of Octalysis Team Freedom, they're now moving around very aggressively, looking for opportunities. It's 14-10 in favor of Octalysis. But experience-wise, still a little bit in favor of Octalysis. Maybe get 20, maybe we get the trade-off up at the top. It's going to be an interesting inning. Towers of Doom, you can't have it any other way.
Here comes the siege from Octalysis. Will the Sappers be able to make any value there? Collusion throws down the lurking arm. Denied. No posturing from Octalysis to threaten off, though. 27 seconds out from the altars. As we said, 2 on the top left and top right. 20 is closing in there forward to the Octalysis. They might be able to stall out, maybe. But it would only be over one of those 2 if they're going to try and wait for that 20 later kind of spike.
See if we get the trade. I think right now both teams, they've got to be feeling the pressure. I mean, this is game 5. It does not get any tighter than this. You lose and you are watching from home tomorrow, and furthermore, you are watching home during the midseason brawl. It looks like we're going to have the trade. Neither team at 20, neither team willing to risk it.
And there it is. 6-10 in terms of HP. 20 will be achievable now for Team Freedom. But I feel like the one thing we've got to be keeping our eyes on is it's just those rotational pickoffs. That has been the thing that every single objective that has spawned, the major kind of momentum swing in one favor has just been somebody getting caught out within those rotations. And if that's going to happen again, thankfully for Freedom, though, they've got that Medivh always hovering over Octalysis, being able to keep track.
Well, yesterday we saw Fury with one of the most epic death moshes you'll ever see. Hold on to that level 20. We'll see how it goes. Infinite Lightning picked up here for Cassia. No armor she's going to worry about there. And this control here. Interesting approach here by both teams. Boss also 20 seconds away. Next altar phase, Dreadnought. That bottom lane control, it is bottom altar.
Which means it's impossible for Team Freedom to be able to make an easy rotation down to it. They will, again, be able to kind of skirt towards that 20, but it's going to be close.
So tense right now. Boss spawning now. We'll see if Team Freedom without that 20, I don't think they're going to go for that. Nasmus going to show at the bottom on Blaze. See if that forces out the rotation from Octalysis. Sapper camps here again. If they can get Sapper in, one Sapper and a channel, it's all it would take, but it doesn't look like they're going to defend at the bottom. They're actually feigning to go towards that boss, and Medivh scouting that out has forced them to come up. Also, you mentioned the easy rotation, not there. They're not able to rotate to the bottom. Instead, they're going to trade off with simply the boss. This is...
Yeah, this is a win condition on the bottom half of the map. They literally just cleared the minions as fast as they can. They have to rip it beyond anything else. Those are going to be 3 shots moving into the core with the Sappers.
No way.
They've got 5 on the bottom half. It's not a game over, but it's close.
5 plus 1 Sapper.
No, you're right.
5 plus 1 Sapper. They've got to get down here. They've got to get down here now.
They've got it. At least the Sapper's up to the wall of death. Hold on, though. You got to remember that they have a Stukov. They can throw down the lurking arm. Here he is.
All they have to do is pass
Interrupts
through. There's enough damage. I think that's going to be enough. Bunkers going down. The desperation call. They've done it. They've held on, but we are looking at 6 shots to 1 now. That right there got my heart racing. Somebody's like, guys, we got to rip this and get down here.
I mean, From beginning to end, that level of decision-making, though, was some of the highest risk at this point in time that Team Freedom could ever be asking for. They do end up getting it, and it might be enough to be able to recover, but one shot, one zapper without control over that bottom bell tower, it is very likely that they're going to be in a almost checkmate type situation over the next shrine.
But keep this in mind. That bell tower on the left mid of Octalysis, you lose a team fight. All of a sudden, Team Freedom, that is one shot. You go back down to the bot lane, that's another. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at the shots. And that is a significant margin to turn this around and potentially try and end for yourself.
It's going to be what they rely on. Honestly, I don't think that Team Freedom has that much time on the side. If they win a skirmish, they've got to double convert and then pick up the altar for the game.
Here it goes again. Another defense here. Team Freedom, they have to stand right here, right now. They've done it once. They have the damage. See if they can get it again. Bunker, see if it comes down. Blaze did Hearth back, using the sappers up at the top. We've got 20 seconds, though, until the altar. They're going to try and stall these sappers, buy as much time. That is body blocking to this is desperation time. They're trying to do every small thing to make this happen. The damage coming out there seems to be too much. I think the drag landed. We had a little bit.
Sapper was already dealt with here. Look at the rotation here for Team Freedom. They take the portal up, knowing that that cutoff is going to be very risky. Medivh kind of abusing the adjustment there. Isolation lands on top of 2. Justin tries to go in with the Dragon Door. It's going to connect. Tranquility ends up going down. Force of Will gaining a lot of value there on the top half. Zugrod taking a bit of damage as he comes out of that bunker. Yoda
Justin
getting zoned back. Nasmus goes in with that jet propulsion, the polybomb, but Bud
the channel!
And he gets the channel. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Octalysis will move on to be able to take on Heroes Hearth Esports and survive day 2 of North American playoffs.
Wow. I mean, at the most desperate of moments on Volskaya, Octalysis found a way back into this and then sends us all the way here. We come full circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're getting all 5. And on Towers of Doom, it comes down. And those moments towards the end, it does not get more tense. Single altar phase, defending against sappers, but Octalysis able to clutch it out. It's impressive.
You know, I attribute a lot of that last game to the fact that Octalysis, they seemed a lot more confident. They were willing to make the plays needed to win the game every single fight. Even when they were down, they were willing to make the play needed to win the game. Whereas on Team Freedom, I saw the hesitancy again. Like that last fight, right before the last shrine spawned, they were doing the Sapper camp, right? And that's a perfect place for you to fight. There was no reason not to fight there. That is the perfect choke for Diablo. That is the perfect spot where Stukov can get max value silence. That is the last chance you're going to get. Why would you try to fight in an open area, in a wide open space around the shrine when you have the Diablo Stukov composition? But they were passive. They gave it away. And then even in the final fight, they only counter-engaged. The Diablo APOC combo only came out when Isolation was already on top of his entire backline just to peel. And they gave up the channel when none of them were dead. It was just pure passivity.
And at the other side of the table, when we got that level of play coming out from Octalysis, it was just too much to be able to handle. That in mind, I feel like Freedom, had silver linings here today as from a lot of our criticism when looking at the past 5 weeks of play, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough to be able to take out these Titans. And with us on the line here is going to be Goku joining here. Goku, first of all, congratulations, number 1, on the new name sponsorship here coming out for the squad, but the number 2 on the victory here today. How's it feel?
Thank you. Feels pretty good right now. We still have a lot of work to go through. Like, of course, we still have to go through Heroes Hearth, so we're still trying to stay keep focused the entire time. So yeah.
Did you guys feel a lot of kind of maybe nerves today when looking at the roster, or was it very much you guys came in cool, calm, and just feeling good for the most part?
Yeah, we came in cool, calm. I guess we didn't expect that kind of level of play from Team Freedom. They did step above from a lot of their HGC play, so they definitely played really good this time.
And, what was the most surprising if you could choose, maybe an individual element, I feel like, on the side of Team Freedom? Because we felt the same, and I was actually going to ask you, did you feel like it was them stepping up or maybe weaknesses on your end? So with that, what was that individual strength that was different maybe today from the original weeks on the side of Freedom?
I think Freedom just overall as a team has, just said, has been stepping up. And the biggest people that I see was, Yoda and Lutano. They were extremely impressive today, and they showed it for sure.
Well, I'm going to send you over to J-Hal.
Goku, you guys were down 2-1 in this series, and things looked pretty grim on Volskaya, but you guys started to turn things around. It seemed like things just kind of opened up. what was the mood like midway through that game? And then once that started to turn around, just kind of take me through the emotions and the roller coaster of that game before you guys were able to get us to a game 5.
It was pretty intense. It was kind of just like you're back on the wall, and that's I guess when our team was shining the most, because we knew what we had to do to win. I feel like some of it was a draft issue, but even then, our play was a little bit sloppy those games, and it was well executed by Team Freedom to punish us.
It was mid-game around Towers of Doom. They started making pretty aggressive rotations on you on the Dahaka there, and they were successful at one point, started to take control. It seems like things really started to get a little bit rough. It seems like you guys started to lose control, but then all of a sudden you started making the big plays on Dahaka with the brush stocks towards the late game. I mean, does that shake you at all in the game? Are you coming back to try and prove a point like, oh, you want to gank me? I'm coming for you. What is it like in that role?
I think the huge problem was my brush stocks in the early game weren't as effective as they should have been. They could have been a lot more impactful, and I think I would take the blame on myself for that. But my team was just executing everything properly. It was also my fault for not anticipating that gank. It was really good from them to punish me.
Well, you came back strong in the later part of that game and pulled off some pretty epic plays. I'm going to send you over to Fan.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Goku? I know you said you guys still have a lot to work on, but I thought you guys looked pretty good today. Like you said, especially when your back was against the wall, Freedom came up stronger than you expected, and there were many times where it looked like you might lose the game, maybe even the series, but you guys always made like the insane play to pull the game back, pull the series back. So how do you think you're going into tomorrow? Are you confident that you can take out Heroes Hearth? How's the team feeling?
I think we're pretty confident. I think a huge issue for us before was when we fall behind, it just like it escalates and we just fall even further, and then we would mostly lose the majority of those types of games. But now I guess everybody's just been more focused and knows that like the game isn't over until it's actually over. So we're gonna be cool, calm, and collective for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you guys won the games you were supposed to, and you had some insane comebacks. So can't wait to see the games tomorrow.
And Goku here, before we let you go, you know, the floor is yours for any shout-outs. I'm looking forward to seeing how the new Octalysis shout-outs go. You know, how smooth those ones are working.
I still need to work on it, but shout-outs to Team Octalysis, shout-outs to our manager, Yipboss, his slave, Arya, shout-outs to Milk and Cookies, our fans, and of course, shout-outs to my team. And you guys on the desk, too.
Thank you very much there, Goku, and congratulations once more, and good luck tomorrow. I don't know if you got that end piece, you know. I was just trying to.
He's going back watching Twitch because we're on a delay. He's like, how did I do? He's watching.
Going back and watching that here. But let's check in with where we find ourselves here in North America now that things have kind of unfolded. Looking at our playoffs, we started off with GFE and Simplicity, but now deep down all the way here towards the very end, we find ourselves with Heroes Hearth Esports and Team Octalysis. I wish I could say, ladies and gentlemen, this wasn't expected, but it is literally exactly how the standings and seeding has placed this. No major upset there, but that doesn't mean that there won't be one tomorrow.
Everything's been super competitive for now. Again, I said if Team Freedom was able to pull this off and then maybe get through, it's a testament to their resolve and how strong of a team they actually are. And I think even in a loss today, they showed that they're back to their true form. They just played a really good team in Team Octalysis today. They'll have a few things to work on during the break. But if I'm Team Freedom, yes, you drop down to the number 4 seed after such a strong start. You didn't have the best performance at the Western Clash, but they have a lot of signs of positive play here in this weekend. So for me, that chapter's not over for that team, but more importantly, Team Octalysis versus Heroes Hearth tomorrow. That's an insane series to look forward to.
Yeah, I know the biggest silver lining from Heroes Hearth side of things is the fact that they got to sit back, watch all of today's games, to gauge, and they got 5 games out of it. It wasn't like it was a major stomp or very lopsided in one way or the other. We have gotten a pretty good kind of sample size and look at what we're going to expect out of Octalysis, and it's going to be interesting to figure out how Heroes Hearth is going to approach that. Is there anything that stands out to you from competitor standpoint when looking at either Octalysis or Heroes Hearth that they have to make sure they get going into tomorrow?
I mean, all of these games have been extremely close, even though it's going as the rankings have predicted. I think going into tomorrow, Team Octalysis, they look like they're pretty much back in form, and they have the warm-up of all the matches today. There's a very real, discrepancy between playing scrims and playing real tournament matches. I think Octalysis is going to be really ready for tomorrow. They're going to be warmed up, and that might make up the difference. I don't have a favorite for tomorrow, honestly.
I wish after today I'm a little bit more torn on it. I'm still leaning towards the Heroes Hearth Hive train because it's been real and it seems like that momentum is going to be near impossible to stop. But tomorrow we'll find out if Octalysis does in fact have what it takes. That's going to be it for us here tonight. But again, tomorrow we deem the second seed for the mid-season brawl for North America.